Hello guys, in this video we will be making a simple snake game utilizing the HTML5 canvas. To start with, all you need to follow along this tutorial is that you need to create a folder with your project. Let's do that together. We go to File, Open Folder, I go into YouTube, and New Folder, and we call it Snake. Now, inside this folder, we're gonna create a new file called index.html and a new folder called JS. In the folder, we're gonna create a new file called main.js. First off, let's create some boilerplate code for HTML. This is just some boilerplate code to set up a new HTML page. So the title will be set to snake. And then we need to reference the main.js file that we created inside of the HTML file to be used. So to do that, we use a script tag. Inside of the script tag, we set the type to be text/JavaScript. And we need the source of the file. So we set current directory inside of the JS folder and main.js. We want this file to be loaded after the page has loaded fully. To do that, we use defer in the script tag. Now we can set up the canvas. Just do a canvas tag and with an ID of canvas. We can set the width to 450 and the height to 450. Now we're done with the HTML, let's go into the main.js file. In the main.js file, first off, we need some variables. I know we will need a snake. We will need context to draw to the canvas. We need FPS. And we need tile count. Tiles per row. I will set this to 15. The first function we're gonna create is a function called init. Inside of the init function, we're gonna get the canvas from the HTML file. To do that, we declare a local variable called canvas equals document.get element by ID and canvas. Now that we have the canvas, we can create the context. So the ctx equals canvas dot get context 2D. We call init at the bottom of the file. Now we need to see if we get any errors while executing this. So open up the folder that you created and double click the index.html file. You can see we have an all white page as it should be, and the console doesn't register any errors. We can open this side by side like this. The snake game we're gonna make is gonna have a snake object, a food object, and a body object. We can start with the snake object. Let's create a new file called snake.js inside of the JS folder. In here, we're gonna say class snake. When we initialize the file, we wanna get a position, a size, and we're gonna pass the context and the tile count as well. So we create a constructor with the size, context, and tile count. So as I told you before, we need a position. In the constructor, we can set a starting position of pos x equals to 3, let's say, and this dot pos y equals 1. So now we have the starting position. We also need the size. It's being passed down via the constructor. And we need the context. This ctx equals ctx. And we need tile count. Tile count. We also need a direction for the snake. And we're gonna set it to 2 for now. So what I'm thinking is 0 is up, 1 is right, 2 is down, and 3 is left. Now we need a body as well. We can just create an empty array for now. We will come back to the body later. To move the snake around, we have a direction. But we want to be able to change the direction. So we create a function called change direction with new dir and set this.dir equals to new dir. So now we can change the direction, but we also want to move the snake, and the move function will have a switch case of this.dir, and the first case is 0, and that is when the snake is going up. So this.posy negative equals 1. So we subtract 1 from posy. The next case is case 1. It's right, so we're gonna go this.posx plus equals 1 and break after. Case 2 is down, so we're gonna go this.posy plus equals 1. Case 3 equals this posx negative equals 1. So now we have a snake that have a function to move and change direction. So now we can create a snake. So we're gonna take the snake object, a new snake. We're gonna have a size of canvas dot client row width divided by tiles per row and the context and the tile count. So now we can create an event listener. To create an event listener, we're gonna grab the document dot add event listener and key down, and we're gonna pass a function with a parameter of e for event, and inside here we're gonna have a switch case of e, which the first case is 37, and that is to the left, the arrow left. So we're gonna move the snake, change direction to 3 and break. The next case is 38, and we're gonna move the snake up and break again. Next case is 39, that is right, so we're gonna move the snake, change direction 1, and the last one is 40, and we're gonna move the snake down. So now we cover every direction, so we're done with the event listener. Let's draw it on the screen. So we need a function draw. Inside of the draw function, we need to first draw the background. I want to have a border around it, so I'm gonna have a fill style of black. Create the rect. So now I want to create the rect of the position of origin, so 0, 0, and the width of 450 and the height of 450. 450 is the height of the canvas and the width of the canvas. So now we can just write context.stroke, and now we should have a border of the canvas. Let's see. Now we get the reference error that snake is not defined. This is very common. In this .html file, we need to reference the file. So we remove the defer and reference the snake file. So now we're just gonna put draw in the end of init for testing purposes. And you can see we have a small border around the canvas. Now, we need to update every frame. So we use a set interval. It's a function in JavaScript. And we call the update function every thousandths of a milliseconds divided by the FPS we want. In my case, I put the FPS to 3. So we need a function update. So we create a function called update. And in the update function, we call draw. But the snake will also need to be drawn. So we create a function in snake called draw. And inside here, we set the fill style to red for the head. And the context dot fill rect to draw a rectangle of the snake's head. The position is this dot pos x, and y is this dot pos y. The width is size, this dot size, and the height is also this dot size. Now we should see a red square appearing on the canvas. But first, we need to reference the snake.draw inside of the draw function. So let's do that. Snake.draw. As you can see, the snake is not in the top left corner. That's because we have the position of 3 and the starting position of 1 on the y. Why this is drawn so poorly is because we need to multiply the position by this dot size. So do that on both x and y. Save that. As you can see now, it's 0, 1, 2, 3. And 0, 1. So now it's at the correct position, but it's not moving. So let's make it move. So we call snake.move every frame in the top of the update. Let's reset the background so the head doesn't stroke the whole canvas. To do that, we set the fill style of white, because our background is white, and fill rect of position 0, 0, 450, 450. As you can see, the border disappeared. That's because we draw the full background after we draw the border, so we override it. To fix this, we just put the background drawing before the border drawing, and this should fix it. Now let's see. Yeah, now we have a border and we have a snake head that's moving across the screen. Now let's tackle the body. So the snake needs a body, but to do that we're gonna create a new file called body.js and reference it in the index.html file called body. So inside of the body we have a class called body, and this class will have a constructor with a position, pos x and pos y, and we want to have a size. I think that's it. So this dot pos x equals pos x, and this dot pos y equals pos y, and this dot size equals size. Now we're going to use this object inside of the body. First we want to make a function to add body parts. to do that, we call add body. We want to push the body part to the body array. To do that, we use this .body .unshift. So here we're gonna have a new body with a posX of this .posX and this .posy, and of course the size. So the same size at the same position as the head. Now we also need to update the body. So update body, a new function. Inside of the function, we're gonna check if this body.length is greater than 0. We wanna pop the last element of the body array. So pop removes the last element of the body array, and we wanna add a body part. Add body. So now each frame the snake head moves. We remove the last element of the snake's tail, and we add a new element at the position of the head. Now we can add an update function to the snake called update. In this function, we're gonna call this.update body and this.move. We do this because it will clean up our main file quite a bit. So instead of typing snake.move, snake.update body, we just call snake.update. Snake.update. Now, to test this, we have a dilemma. When we update this, we don't have any food to eat, but we can move around, but we don't have any body parts. To solve this, we're gonna create a bit of a sheet. So at key code 67, we're gonna say snake.addBody. So when we press C on the keyboard, we should add a body part. So let's see if this works. I push C and nothing happens. But if we come down here to the console and type snake.body, we see that the body actually is here. So why isn't it showing? That's because we don't draw the body. So go into the snake.js file again, go down to draw, and down here we're gonna make a for each of the body array and the element B. So the fill style will be green and fill rect of b.posX times b.size and b.posy times b.size and the size of the width and the height. So now we should draw the body parts as well. Let's try it out. So we push C. Body is not defined. That's this is a common issue when we're working with classes in JavaScript. We forget to put this dot and this dot. So now let's try if it works. As you can see, we got the tail and we add one more. So now we have a snake with the body that we can move around. Now we need some food and we need some collision detection. Let's start with the food. Add a new file called food.js. Inside of the food, we want to create a class called food. And we're gonna have a constructor of size and tile count. And we're gonna set pos x equal to math dot floor math random times tile count. This will set the random position of x to the food, and do the same with the y. Now we just need a tile count and the size. Now when we eat this food, we want to set a new position. To make this easy, we do a function called new pos and do the exact same calculation as in the constructor. So now the food class is done. Let's go back to the main.js file and create a food object. So food equals new food at the size of snake.size and the tile count of tiles per row. We also need to add the food to the global variables. So now let's see. Food is not defined. We made an JS file, we added it to the main.js, but we haven't put a reference to it in the HTML. So let's do that. Reference to food.js. So now we have a reference. We've created a food object. Now in the main.js, we want to draw the food. We draw it in between the background and the snake. To draw it, we use ctx.fill style of blue, because apples is blue, and fill rect of food.posx times food.size and food.posy times food.size and food size for width and food size for height. Now let's see if it draws. As you can see, we have a blue piece of food over here, but we don't have any collision detection, so we will not be able to pick it up. Let's fix that right away. Going to snake.js, and under the draw, we're gonna create a food collision, and we're gonna pass in the food object. So we return food.posx equals this.posx and food.posy equals this.posy. Now we need to reference it inside of the update function. So now before we update the snake, we check for food collision. So if snake.food collision with food, then we want a snake.add body, and we want a new position of the food. That's it. So now let's see if it works. As you can see, we get a reference error of tile count. It's the same deal as last time. We missed the this dot. Now let's try it. So we're gonna get the food, and we grew. So now let's try to implement the collision of the snake. So inside here we say body collision. We don't need any parameters for this, and we create a for each loop of body. of the element b, and if b.posX equals this.posX and b.posY equals this.posY, then we return true. And don't forget this dot before body. So now we have the collision for the body as well. Let's try it out. We can go to the main.js file. So what will happen when the snake hits itself? We need to have a game over state. So first off, let's create that. Let game over be false to begin with. And now we set game over equal to the snake.body collision. Because if the body collision is true, the game over is true, and we should stop the update of the snake. And inside of draw, we don't want to draw the snake anymore. So we do the same here, if not game over. So as long as it's not game over, we draw the snake. Otherwise, we're gonna draw some text. So we say else context.fill style equals black and context.font equals 30 pixel Arial and ctx.fill text game over at the x position of 450 divided by 2 minus 90. 90 is just the offset to try to get the text to the center, and 450 divided by 2 at the y position. So now let's see if we need to spell correctly. False. Now let's see if we can lose. So if we go into the body, nothing happens. It seems that we can't return inside of a for each. So to solve this, we're gonna create a boolean called game over inside of the function and set it to false, and set game over to true inside of the function, and then return game over at the end of the body collision function. Now if we update and we add some body parts and go into the body part, we get the game over. Now the last thing to do is for the snake to loop around. So inside the move function, at case 0, we create a if statement that check if the pos y is less than 0. In that case, we're gonna set the pos y equal to the tile count -1. And case 1, if this.posX is greater or equal to this.tilecount, we're gonna set this.posX to 0. And the same for posY. So posY is greater or equal to this.tilecount. We set posY to 0. And lastly, the last one, this.posX is less than 0. We set it to this.tile count -1. And now we're done with the snake game. As you can see, let's try it. We're gonna go up. Yeah, it works. Left to right. As you can see, we can move around now. So we're done with the snake game. An exercise that you can do on your own is that the food can spawn under the snake body. If you don't manage to fix this, or have any questions about the implementation of the snake, just let me know in the comments box below. Otherwise, I hope to see you around on the channel. Have a nice day, and bye bye.